Hey folks, Sir Charles Carey here, and welcome to another episode of Desktop Discussions. So we're going to get started right here. Let's get myself going, get myself together. There's a lot to talk about today because we go through a lot in the course or in the midst of our every single day. Every day that we're out here on the highways, the byways, just in life. There's something to be prepared for, something to, how would you say, be ready for. But of course, everything doesn't always work out the way we want. Hence, you have to be able to speak up for yourself. You have to be able to, ask for what you want in life. You have to be able to do whatever is necessary so that life pans out in a way that not only are you satisfied, but it just makes sense to you. Things make sense. Things add up. But if you don't open your mouth, as they say. A closed mouth does not get fed. And there's nothing further from the truth or closer to the truth, depending on how you want to look at it. And today's talk is sort of inspired by my kids, my children. They're not small little people anymore. They're grown and living their own lives. And my oldest daughter in particular, I've said this to her a number of times when we've worked together, and just in general, you have to ask for what you want. And even when I think about it, my younger kids, I can be quite frank and honest enough to say that, I would tell them or ask them when they were smaller or younger and young teens, why don't you ask for anything? And I had a conversation with my son even one day, and he said, Dad, you told us that in life you have to get what you want. You can't just ask for it. And I looked at him and I said, but you were a little boy at that time. I was explaining to you how life was, but things change. And he and I looked at each other and we laughed. And I kind of felt bad at the same time because I realized how much he may have missed out on. And, fast forwarding to today, when I think about my older daughter or my oldest daughter, it's similar, but not the same. I want to be there for her. We always want to be there for our children, just in the time of comfort and the time of need, whatever it may be. And I don't know, maybe I seem to be brash. Maybe I have a hard edge to me. Of course, I don't see myself that way, but regardless, you have to ask for what you want. And in asking for what you want, you'll either get it or you won't get it. But one thing is for sure, if you don't ask for what you want, you absolutely 100% of the time will not get what you want. So again, today's topic is ask for what you want. And I got a couple of things I want to run by you because I think it's ultimately important, especially in trying times. In the midst of difficult times, we all are going to have needs, wants, desires. But again, you have to go for it. You have to make it happen. You have to create the avenues to make these things a reality, especially if it's important. Food, clothing, shelter, right? Resources that are ultimately necessary for you to survive. You're going to have to ask for what you want. And sometimes, a want, it's not that much that you really want to focus on. But the needs are crucial. And we have to realize that if you don't, it's just simply not going to happen. And write this down. Here's some of the reasons why these things don't happen. Sometimes we don't ask for what we want or for what we need simply because our self-esteem is a little bit low or has been attacked or badgered or never lifted, whichever it may be. It's hard for a person who has never been encouraged or who doesn't feel good about themselves to ask another individual, family member or not, for something. Doesn't matter what it is. Sometimes that can be really difficult to say, hey, can I get a couple of bucks to payday? Hey, can I get a couple of bucks for lunch? Or would you mind giving me X? Or can you tell me how to get Y, Z, whatever it is? When our self-esteem is a little low, Sometimes we may not feel worthy of asking another individual for something. And, it kind of feeds into your challenged, your healthy self esteem versus the ability, being able to move away from that mindset. So that's one thing we have to realize. Why don't you ask for what you want? Well, maybe you're a little bit not good in that department, which moves me to the second thing, which is really very close: confidence. Are you not confident enough to ask for what you want? Now, people say consider the source, which makes sense. If you're asking a person who's never supported you, doesn't like you, doesn't care about you, never shown any interest in you, I would say that would make a lot of sense not to let that person be the first person you approach in regards to your wants or your needs. But if it's someone that has known you all your life, family member, brother, sister, even through tough times, you should have a better read on them. Can I approach them and ask them for their help? Can I approach them when I'm feeling vulnerable so that I can get the things that I want or that I need? And a lot of times people still struggle. And it's not just about being confident, but you know what? It's difficult. And let me tell you why it may be difficult. It may be difficult because number one, you feel vulnerable. Here it is, you're asking someone else to do something for you, whatever it is. But you know what? Everyone has a moment of vulnerability from time to time. And the truth of the matter, that vulnerability is really strength. If you have the courage to open your mouth and open your mind, first and foremost, open your mind, open your mouth to ask for that support, whatever it may be: food, clothing, shelter, it doesn't really matter. Because, again, a closed mouth does not get fed. And you understand, I experienced this myself, and as it relates to my business as a speaker, as a peak performance strategist, I was told and I was taught you have to stand strong in your fees. So if I know that I'm worth $10,000 and I'm willing to ask for just $2,500, but my website says 10,000, but my mouth says 2,500, my appearance says 10,000, why am I only asking for $2,500? And that's in a business scenario. But the same thing happens in our everyday lives. You have to ask for what you want. And you can't allow your self-esteem and your level of confidence to not allow you to be positioned. Well, that's easy for you to say, Sir Charles. And you're right, because you don't get a healthy self-esteem at the snap of a finger. You have to work on you. You have to understand why your self-esteem, if that's the issue, why your self-esteem isn't stronger, more sturdy, more viable. So, as you're working on your self-esteem, which may require outside help, psychologist, therapist, counselor, someone in your place of worship, that's possible. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because again, even heads of state have other people to refer to in their decision making, in their growth and development. So if that's their route you have to take it, because it's only going to make you better in the long run. But as far as confidence, if you're doing something that you are good at, if you're doing something that you know well, that's something that you should be able to stand behind and not waver. I believe Mayor Muriel Bowser says, I don't whiffle and I don't waffle, right? You should not whiffle and waffle for your true value. So you have to be willing to ask for what you want and ask for what you need. See, I don't know if anyone's up there. There's some people making comments. Yes. Okay. Good morning, my daughter. She's going to deal with some things on her health side of her life, and definitely praying for you and wishing you all the best. I know you're going to be good. So good to see you. And Cynthia Lane, good morning. Yes, so true about self-esteem. Absolutely, Cynthia. Well, that's okay. I'm glad that I'm able to share something that may make a difference for you and that may help you in some portion. And here's the funny thing: we get to this point, this age in our lives, and the light finally comes on that we can do this. And you think about all the time in the past you didn't stand up for yourself, all the times in the past you didn't ask for what you want, all the times in the past you did not ask for what you need. And you're like, Dad, decades have passed me, but you know what? The buck stops here. The buck stops now. I'm going to stand strong and defend me. I'm going to speak up on behalf of me. Why? Because I deserve it, because I want it. See, everything doesn't have to be a need. Sometimes it is simply a want. But even in our wants, stand up for you, protect you, defend you, be your own defender. I tell people, a lot of people want the end result, but they don't want to do the work to get the end result. They want the benefits without the effort to earn it. You have to be able to work on it. You have to be able to, I forget the phrase that I use, be a part of your own rescue. I believe that's what I normally say. You have to be a part of your own rescue. And sometimes that's a one-on-one issue, as I previously mentioned. And sometimes, excuse me, sometimes it's an issue based on, you doing some deep diving, and it takes time because you've gotten good. So you know that you can have the confidence to speak up for yourself. But whatever it may be, do it and don't be apologetic for it. It may be uncomfortable at first, and it should be. But why would you say that? You just told me to speak up for myself, Sir Charles. Why would you say it should be uncomfortable? Let me tell you, and write this down if you need to. It's going to be uncomfortable for you at certain points because you have never done it before. Now, you may have said, as in business, well, how much is your fee? 5,000? Yeah. Well, that sounds very uncertain. So the first time you speak up and ask for your real fee, people may look at you like, all right, well, we only got 2,500. Is that good? Can you work with that? And most people go, yeah, that's probably, I can work with that. And they make an excuse for why they decided to ask for a lower fee. That's fine, because actually I can offset that because we are doing this, we're doing that. But as time goes on, you will realize that you can't keep doing the same thing. What's the phrase? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So if you're asked about fees, just using this as an example, and you keep asking for 2,500, but your website and all your paperwork says 10,000, it's not going to happen until the inner confidence is able to say, what's your fee, Mr. Jones? Oh, our fee is $10,000 for up to 2 hours. So when you're able to ask for it with confidence and assuredness, you won't get the difference until you're able to do that. So, again, I say that because we have to learn what it feels like, what it sounds like, and then get comfortable doing that particular thing. And even in your personal life, if you want someone to, hey, listen, I need $50 to pay that, versus, you got something that can hold me over to payday, and they give you $10, $20, but you need 50. Ask for what you want. Ask for what you need. And it doesn't matter. It could be a favor. It could be money. It could be prayer even. Why not? Hey, would you mind praying with me? Think about it. How many times has someone said, hey, how you doing? I'm good. I'm okay. But meanwhile, there's chaos going on in your life. Of course, we have to learn to discern who we can say certain things to. You don't want to put all your personal business out for the world to see, for the world to know. Of course not. But if there's someone that has treated you with respect, someone that has known you for a long time, someone that has relied on you, someone that you have been there for, you should be able to go to them to ask for what you want, or sometimes even ask for what you need. And again, the reason simply is because you're definitely deserving of it. And you're choosing to discuss this thing with a person that I believe you may have a level of respect for, someone that you've known for a period of time. So there's a certain level of credibility. And then again, you deserve it. Think of all the times you have not asked for what you want, yet you had a need that went unknown, it went unaddressed, it was never fulfilled. So we must simply do that. And again, if you have comments, you have questions, please continue to post them. There's a lot I can say on this, but I like to do um, talks and trainings that don't drag you on for hours or for a long period of time, because sometimes less is best. And I'm hoping this is one of those scenarios where less is best, because I really want you to, get something out of this. I want this to make a difference to you. I want you to see this and realize the value in what you have done or have not done, and how you can make better decisions. So asking for what you want and asking for what you need is really important. And again, post your comments, post your questions. I'd love to engage you. Hopefully, this is for someone that can benefit. Thanks for those that have jumped on. If you're going to watch it in the replay, feel free to share it. Share it with those that you know that can benefit from it. And with that being said, I always say you got to radiate the brain and change the game. And I'll see you next time.